Hello, it's a beautiful day. I am Ella Dashanaba King, and this is Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga Dada Bonga Dada Bonga. You know what it's all about. We are a platform for women's voices. Oh, yes, we are a platform for women's voices. And tonight, we're starting the show. I just want to say that both I and Teresa Kemp serve as show commentators. And from time to time, we will bring on other show anchors or other show co anchors and an exciting roster of guests to be on the Bonga Dada Bonga show. Our co anchor for tonight is none other than health and wellness coach Raquiyah. Please greet the audience.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Okay. All right. And we might have Nana on tonight just managing the chat if she gets a chance to do that. We'd like to give a shout out to our people who like to tune in from Ghana. As you well know, Ghana is the country where I was installed as a Queen Mother in the Volta region. So I want to give a shout out to Gadamore, Josephine, Aisha, Chief Tugby Salaga, and Chief Tugby Hatsu, all in Ghana. Hello to Sissy, Ernestine, and Principal Malungu, our tuners, people tuning in to the show from Namibia. Now, to all of you who are tuning in, we're so happy that you are. And if this is your first time, thank you for taking the time to tune in to Bonga Dada Bonga and see what it is that we are all about. And what we're about is being a platform for women. Okay, that's what we're about, and that's what we're up to. So now let's find out a little bit about Bonga Dada Bonga.
Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga, a new platform for women's voices, a site, point, a space that strives to amplify voices of women and survivors who have been historically silenced. Hashtag Bonga Dada Bonga, speak sister speak, joins a
Mhm.
growing list of service organizations and supporters of women causes in countries across North America, Latin America, the Pacific Rim, and Africa. You will hear phenomenal, extraordinary, even heartbreaking stories of some
That's right.
of the
Hmm.
most courageous, powerful, and inspiring women, girls, and some men too. You even meet each and every one of them in a superhero. And at Bonga da Bonga, we're honored and proud to share their colorful biographies, experiences, narratives, testimonies, and stories with you. Why is Bonga da Bonga important?
Why
Bonga
is
da
Bonga Dada
Bonga.
Bonga important?
Bonga da Bonga is important to dispel the myths of
That's right.
misconceptions
That's it.
about what women roles are, what women can do, and in fact, what women around the globe are doing.
Hmm.
Just a moment. Lost my notes. Lost my notes. Can you finish up, Queen?
Okay, Bonga Dada Bonga is a very, 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 very interesting platform. All right. And some of the things that we're doing is just a great opportunity for us to generate visibility, familiarity, understanding, comprehension, realization, and support for women's aspirations around the country. Bonga Dada Bonga is really about promoting awareness and raising information about women in many cultures, in many diverse cultures, whether we're in Namibia, Southwest Africa, South America, or Ukraine, Israel, here in Kenya, Namibia, and other countries. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. It is a new platform for women's voices, and Bonga Dada Bonga will actually be celebrating 1 year come May 2023. So stay tuned for
Wow.
what we'll be doing. Stay tuned for what we'll be doing for our anniversary coming up. Let me tell you how the show actually works. Okay? So what happens is we have various women in leadership roles who come on the show, and they are influencers. Okay, they will be moderating the show as a anchor or as a co-anchor. Bonga Dada Bonga does get involved in training young people to become personalities. So we not only take on seasoned people, we're also in the process of training young people to be on-air personalities. So the co-anchors that we use, they are from a very colorful spectrum of journalists. They could be campaign managers, activists, leader activists. They're women organizations. They're publicists. They're educators. They're people running businesses, and they deliver opinions, commentary, and analysis on the matter at hand. Okay. March, as you well know, was Women's History Month, and every week in the month of March, we covered some powerful women of the past and powerful women of the present. And we were very careful that we made sure that they got to tell their own stories. Okay. In particular, during Women's History Month, we took a look at human trafficking. And we brought in young people who were caught up in the human trafficking network. And thank God they went from victim to survivor. We also talked about FGM, female genital mutilation. And we brought women on the show who have actually had FGM, like they said, when they were young girls, 10, 11, 12 years old, getting FGM, and now they're in their 40s and 50s, but they told us about those experiences. We have also on the show, we've learned about the social, the economic, and the cultural achievements of women. And also, we want to say thank you. Thank you very, very much to those of you for giving us your comments and your remarks. Okay, we invite you to hit that like, share, comment button for Queen Mother, for Bonga Dada Bonga. Hit the like. You know what? If you're tuning in, and I see that some of you are, please let us know that you're here. Just simply send us a like, send us a share, or give us a comment. Say hello. My name is Hoochie Mama, and I'm from Hoochieville, USA, or wherever it is you're from. But let us know when you're tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. So right now, we're going to catch up. Do you still have any notes?
Yes, I have my notes.
Right. Very good.
Avalanche sweeps away tourists in the Himalayas, northeast India, killing at least 7 and injuring 11. The Philippine government has identified 4 new military camps, including some across the sea from Taiwan, where rotating batches of American forces will be allowed to be stationed in, indefinitely, despite strong objections from China. Former President Donald Trump appeared in a New York City court for arraignment on Tuesday after being indicted by a Manhattan grand jury last week. He's the first former U.S. president to be indicted. Although the document remains sealed, sources familiar told ABC News that Trump has been charged with around 2 dozen counts, including felonies. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office said it has been in contact with Trump's lawyers to arrange his surrender to authorities in order to begin criminal proceedings. Trump, a Florida resident, traveled to New York City on Monday, and spent the night at Trump Tower in Midtown Manhattan before the arraignment in Tower Manhattan on Tuesday. The former president must adhere to the court's deadline and be processed by authorities before heading to court for the unsealing of the indictment. President William Ruto has made new appointments in various para, parastatal in
Paracitals.
paracitals in the country to fully form the government. The U.S. is going to hell, after Trump has said in a defiant address after pleading not guilty to falsifying business records to hide damaging information ahead of the 2016 election. The former president was charged with 34 counts in a Manhattan court in New York on Tuesday. The, these relate to a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, who says they had an affair. Mr. Trump is the first U.S. president in history to face a criminal trial. Through a Gazette date notice dated April 6, 2023, the President Ruto appointed two former MPs and one ex-cabinet secretary under retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration. Tokyo Reuters, Japan on Tuesday said it had lost contact with a military helicopter carrying several crew and passengers near Miya, Miyakojima,
Maya Kojima.
Miyakojima, part of its southwest Okinawa island chair. The UHBO troops transport, commonly known as the Black Hawk, disappeared from radar tracking after leaving the ground self-defense force on Miyakojima and did not respond to radio communications, according to public broadcaster NHK. The government's priority is to rescue those on board. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida it said in his comments aired by NHC. Japanese Coast Guard ships are searching for the missing helicopter, which, according to NHK, was carrying 10 people. Some local media reported that a senior ground self-defense force commander was among them. Back
My
to you,
goodness,
Queen.
before we go further, let's just talk a little bit about some of those things you just gave us in the headline news. We have a helicopter that's been missing with people aboard. And as of today, and this news I just picked up from the Newsline today, Coach. So I'm assuming that as of now, that plane is probably still missing. And then, of course, here in Kenya, President Ruto is still appointing people to his new cabinet. And it was made clear that some of the people that he actually appointed was people who were in the former cabinet of the former president, Kenyatta. Okay. So those are some heavy things. And last but not least, is what's going on with the former president in him having to come to New York and stand trial for the things that he has done. So, what's happening in the news around the world where the former president is concerned, Coach?
Well, we have the white nationalists and some of the ministers of in the United States stating that a president has never been charged and that it is unheard of and so forth and so on. But as we all know, the evidence is so preponderant
Mhm.
that something had to be done. A lot of damages has been caused to America in the world, the global world, and everyone is wondering how was he able to get away with such criminal activities. And so we're not going to say much about that because whatever happens, happens. However, I am just requesting two things: that he would never be ever allowed to run for president again, or his children. And with that, to me, that will be poetic justice.
My goodness. My goodness. All right. Well, that's all we have on our headline news for tonight. Of course, there's a lot more to report on, but we're not a news station. We just want to give you tidbits of some of the hot news from around the world. So thank you for that, Coach Raquiyah. We're now going to go to our spotlight, which, of course, we're still dealing with Women's History Month. Coach?
There's something so special about a woman who dominates in a man's world. It takes a certain grace, strength, intelligence, fearlessness, and this nerve to never take no for an answer. Rihanna.
All right. So what we're doing now is, as we well know, Women's History Month is the month of March. But during the month of March, unfortunately, we had a lot of shows that did not air because we were having technical difficulties. We did. We had technical difficulties. So we wanted to just go back and just bring up a few things that we didn't get to cover because we were having difficulties with getting the show on the line. So Queen Mother wants to say that a woman's strength and her willpower are something that the world should celebrate, but not just on one day or one month, but every day, in fact. Because you know why? Because a woman is someone who can give birth to new life in this world. A woman, seeing the history of all the hardships that we have had to go through as women, it's been a challenge. It's been a huge challenge. But the status of women has evolved with the changing times. A woman has been role playing ever since she was born. Ever since she was born, she's gifted to be a person of strength and someone who is molded by love and care. And for any of you that have a mother or a mother figure in your life, I'm sure you can attest to that. When we talk about a woman's status, by comparing past history, we will come across how cruel the world was in the past to us women. Henceforth, Women's History Month is observed to recognize the contributions made by women to society that's been going on throughout history. It's like she stated earlier, it's a month long dedication to women, teaching people about the significant contributions that women have made in the past and today. But all month long, we've covered stories of very powerful women, and we've addressed a lot of things. And so today, what we really want to do on the show is we just want to have some closing out thoughts of some provocative and encouraging quotes. So that's what we're going to do on the show today. We're going to be giving quotes, and after we give a quote, we're going to talk about the quote. And if we have nothing to say about the quote, we'll just simply say no comment. But we're here now, and we'll be sharing and discussing some of these provoking quotes. Now, at Bonga, Dada, Bonga, we honor the iconic women who have changed history, and we encourage new generations to dream big and know that anything and everything is absolutely possible. So, on that first quote that Coach just read for us by Rahana, okay, she says, it does take a special grace to dominate in a man's world. And I'll speak to that myself. I remember years ago living stateside, and I was selling to a corporation named Kmart. Kmart at the time was the number one merchandiser in the United States. Now, others have come along like Walmart
Walmart.
and others. But at one point, Kmart held the space.
Yes.
So I went to Kmart to talk to them about taking in some of my products. Okay. And when I got there, and the people I had to speak with for the most part were men who were the buyers at Kmart. Okay. They were men. And as I'm sitting there having conversation with this male white buyer about taking my product lines into the Kmart store, that man actually said to me, well, listen, I've got another appointment. I'm sorry I have to cut our appointment short, but can I meet you later today? Can we meet later today? And, because I'm a woman of substance and because I'm a woman from a family of 8 women and 2 men, you know what I said to him? Why would you want me to meet you for lunch? That's not doing business hours, right? And he said, well, it's just that I don't have in much time and I really wanted to consider your product. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Would you want my brother to have lunch with your mother? So don't ask me to have lunch with you. It's totally unprofessional and we can set another appointment. But no, we're not meeting anywhere afterwards. So when it takes a certain grace and a certain strength and intelligence, and in that moment, I was a very young woman, but I knew he was asking me something out of line. And so I did what I was supposed to do. I put his butt in line. How would you like it if my brother was asking your mama out for lunch? So don't ask me. Okay. So, ha! And I'll eventually tell you the Kmart story. It was a very long story. I had to get the NAACP involved. I had to get Jesse Jackson involved. Okay. Because when they invited me back for another appointment, guess what? I was living in New York and I had to travel to Detroit, Michigan, fly on a plane, rent a car, drive 2 hours up to Pontiac, not Pontiac, to the area where Kmart's headquarters was located. And when I got there and I went in for my appointment, the secretary told me that the boss was out. You hear me? The
Yes,
president and the secretary told me that the boss was not there. So what that
really.
means to me is that I had spent money, got a hotel, stayed overnight so I could be there for a 9 o'clock appointment, and the buyer had the nerve to not be there. Okay,
Wow.
so that was very upsetting for me. So I called the NAACP in Detroit right from their office and told them what happened, and they told me that Kmart did have a minority officer, compliance officer,
Hmm.
working at the Kmart office. So I was able to get his name. I went to his office. I told him what happened, and he apologized and he said, "We're going to have you back for your appointment, and we will pay for your ticket when you come back." But I'll give you the rest of that story at another time. Let's go back to Women's History Month and some of these powerful, provocative statements. Statement number
Well,
two.
to add to
I
Rihanna,
have. Oh, go ahead.
statement, I found that you have to be strong, and you have to take authority. You
Hmm.
have to go in there with knowing who and whose you are, and you have to be insistent in
Okay.
demanding that which you need and what you're trying to achieve. You have to be
Mm.
strong and full of and courageous, and
All right.
that has been the my overall theme for the for the for the life that I've lived so far. You just have
Okay.
to be demanding.
I see. I see. We want to give a big shout out to Miss Christine tuning in from Samburu County, Kenya. Miss Christine was in Nairobi last week. We attended the Women in Business Women's History Month event, and she is tuning in all the way from Samburu County. Thank you for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. All right. So the next quote is, "I am a woman and I get to define what that means," by Swati Sharma. Well, I think Miss Swati was thinking of me when she made this statement, because Queen Mother is woman and I do get to decide. And there's sometimes even your friends will say things to you. Like you may say, oh, let's pick a scenario. Let's say I'll pick a real scenario. A real scenario would be, I am prepping for the Bonga Dada Bonga show. And I get a phone call for me to watch another Zoom interview. Okay. And I said, okay, I will listen. It comes on at 6, it ends at 7. I said, I'm going to go off about 5 minutes to 7 because I have a show that starts at 7. And then the person that I was speaking to said to me, "You should know that. You should just stay to the end." And so the statement I could say to her is that I am woman and I get to define what that means. And that means that if I have a show coming at 7 and I choose to leave at 5 minutes before so that I can be ready, I can make that choice because I define what works in my world. Comments from you, coach?
No, that was the right thing to do. What I was taught, what I learned a long time ago, is that no one understands your emergency because they're not in that
Uh-huh.
position.
Uh-huh.
And no one understands your vision or your dreams except you. And
All
so
right.
you have to make those choices.
Very good. Very good. All right. Let's go to quotation number 3.
There's something so, a strong woman understands that the gifts such as logic, decisiveness, and strength, are just as feminine as intuition and emotional connection. She values and uses all of her gifts. Nancy
Mm,
Rootburn.
yeah, yeah. It's true that often men think of us being women, as being emotional beings. And it's true, we do have an emotional side. But as Miss Nancy have said, we have decisiveness too. We have logic too. So somehow they want to put all of us in a pot that says we're all dumb blondes. But and I know that that ain't true. Because first off, we ain't blunt. And secondly, we definitely ain't dumb. So thank you, Miss Nancy, right? Uh, for us valuing and using the gifts that we have. All right, quote number 4. This is a nice one. I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life, and I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing that I wanted to do. That's Georgia O'Keeffe. Wow. Now, I don't know if I could stand in Miss Georgia's shoes. I think a few times I have been terrified by some things and I didn't do certain things. It kind of like depends on what it was. It's like I do like gardening, but I like to be the one to buy the plants. I like to be the ones to buy the fertilizer, but I'm not interested in digging any hole in the ground because what I found when I dug in the ground is that there's things that live down there, and Queen Mother doesn't want to know them, and she don't want to have anything to do with them. So on that particular statement, okay, I don't know. I've let some things keep me from doing what I wanted to do. But thank you, Miss Georgia. I'll see if I can live into that. Maybe one day I'll use that as my goal for the day and see if I can live into that. Being terrified, but not letting it keep me from doing some things. Any comments, Coach?
There have been moments that I've been terrified, but I had stood still, said a prayer, and moved forward. There are always going to be moments in which you're afraid, but you cannot let that overpower you or cripple you from moving forward.
Mm.
Onward, forward, always.
And I will say to you that there have been times when it has stopped me. Just being honest. Just quotes, and you're going to hear me using it from time to time on Queen Mother's on Bonga Dada Bonga. And it is the most common way, the most common way that people give up their power is by thinking that they don't have any. But everyone has
Yes.
power. Everyone has power. Every human being has power. And we give it up so often without even thinking about it. And in some cases, don't even know that we've given it up.
And
Okay? Sometimes we don't know that we've given it up.
the main
So
thing
we
that
have
will
to work
cripple
on that. And
the ma-
I'm
and the main thing that will cripple your power is you allowing it to cripple you. The power is deep within, and so you have to be still, meditate, and then forge forward. The number 6 was
we're
the
back in.
most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have.
Yeah, they
So
don't have
then,
any.
right,
Thank you. We went off. We had a blackout. We have a second or two
yeah,
blackout.
and
Thank you for saying that. Very
I
good. Very good.
continued on. Did
Okay.
you want
And
to add something else to feeling powerless?
no, no, I want us
Okay,
to move on to
so
the
we'll
very
move
next.
on to number 7. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
Mhm.
one of the Supreme Court justices that recently passed.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Being in the there's an organization here in Kenya called WOBN, Women on Boards Network. And their
Mm.
whole purpose is to train women how to be on boards because decisions are made in the boardroom. Some of them are made, as we know, on the golf course, but quite a few of them are made in the boardroom. And so the Women on Boards Network is an organization that trains women how to be on boards. And beyond training, they will also help them with placement to be on boards so
Well,
that they can learn how to do that.
throughout history, we've always been on board. The woman in the South sitting knitting, making quilt. They weren't only quilting and they weren't only knitting. Things were being discussed and decisions were being made. Women, working women. We have always been on board. We just they just have created situations that tries to suppress that which we bring to the table.
I beg to differ on that point, coach. We have not always been on boards. Women, we have not been on boards, whether it was in the church or even in the schools. We've not been on the boards. We've
Not
been doing the
physically,
work.
not physically, but behind the scenes. Because there's a statement that says, "Behind every great man is a good woman."
And
And
I'm not coming from there. I'm coming from there's many companies throughout the world and there's
okay,
governments where they make decisions for us. We're not on
yeah,
those boards. We're fighting. I mean, hell, we just got the first female president, vice president, and women are still being first at this and this and this and this. So no, we have not been
okay,
on boards. We have not been on boards. And Ms. Ginsburg, may she rest in peace and power, is saying that that's where we belong. We should be there. We should be there as a rule and not as an exception. And
exception.
normally we're an exception. Normally we're an exception. And she's saying we shouldn't be there as an exception. We should actually be there. All
Well,
right.
I was referring to more of the spiritual and the esoteric as opposed to the physical. So
Okay.
yes, I will agree with you. On number
Yeah.
8, I encourage women to step up. Don't wait for somebody to ask you. Reese Washington, author. I encourage
And this,
women.
oh, okay. On this one about don't wait, there's a statement that many people have used, and I think I really heard it more when I heard President Obama say it. And that's when he said, if not you, who? If not now,
When?
when? Now is the time. And he is not the person who made that quote. He's not the person. In fact, there's a big debate about who that actually came from. 5 or 6 people have claimed that quote.
Oh,
Yeah, if not you, who? If not now, when? Huh?
yeah.
But so this is saying, don't wait for somebody to ask you. It's like if you see dirty dishes, if you see them and they're dirty, guess what? That means you could be the
Wash
person
them.
responsible for making it happen.
Wash them.
My mother used to say, "You." So, Mom, I saw a piece of paper on the floor. What did you do? Well, it's still there. Well, wait, wait, wait. Now, if you saw paper on the floor, what were you supposed to do? So
Pick it
when you
up.
see it, it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. And it's yours in many things in life. When it comes to your realization, when it comes to your awareness, that's the time for you to look at it and align with it to see what is it that spirit would have you do with that particular thing or that particular thought. Okay. Quote number 9. I've never been interested in being invisible and erased. Whoa, that's a big one. Laverne Cox. I don't have any history on Miss Laverne Cox. That's a deep statement. Is that a deep statement?
Yes, it
It's
is.
like when you're in a meeting and they finished the meeting, but no one said, is there anybody who would like to have something to say? Or if you raised your hand, it didn't get acknowledged. How about that?
Right.
That's happened to me sometimes. who have not been acknowledged for one reason or the other. Okay. Um, and the next one I will read, number 10. When the world tells you to shrink, what should you do?
Expand.
When the world tells you to shrink, what should you do?
Expand.
Expand. Expand. Um, there's a woman, I'm sure you know of her, Coach, Mariam Williamson. Mariam,
Yes.
she wrote Nelson Mandela's acceptance speech when he became president of South Africa. And one of the things that was written in his speech, and it's such a powerful speech. And one of the things that was written there when it talked about we, all of us, we have a light and we should let our light shine. And we weren't given a light to put it on a bushel. We were given our light to let our light shine. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give permission to others to do the same. Ha! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So when the world tells you to shrink, in fact, in that speech, they said there's nothing powerful about you shrinking so that other people won't see you. There's nothing powerful in that. There's no
Mm-mm.
power in shrinking. Okay, so I think I love that. I love that, Elaine Welteroth. And quote number 11: the success of every woman should be the inspiration to another. We should raise up each other. Make sure you're very courageous, be strong, be extremely kind, and above all, be
Be
humble.
humble.
And who's that quote by?
Serena Williams.
Isn't that, this is the first time I've ever seen a quote from Miss Serena. What about you?
Uh she seldom says anything, but
Yeah.
when she says it's a statement. She
Mhm,
seldom
mhm.
says anything. Both of them,
Yeah,
Serena and Venus, they're
yeah, yeah,
usually quiet.
yeah. I will say that the success of most women is also a success for me. I'm just being honest. There's been some that I didn't feel success around. It has been, okay? But that's just me, and I have things to work on. But at the beginning and at the end of the day, I do honor the success of every woman, even though every woman's success, I may not have been that happy for it, depending on what
Right.
it is that they received that success for. Okay. So,
I can see that. I
yeah.
like the part with the be courageous, strong, extremely kind, and above all, be humble.
Mhm.
I like
Humble is a way of being.
humility.
It's nothing, yeah, it's nothing you can buy. There's nothing you can read about and study. No, it's a way of being. And she's saying that our, within our humbleness, it should allow us to be able to appreciate the success of all women, whoever they are. Like for right now, I often think about women who are in Kuwait. I think about women who are now over there, in the war zone in Ukraine and what's happening with them. And if you have contacts to the women in Ukraine, please make contact with Bonga Dada Bonga. I'd like to bring those women on the show and let them tell us what they're actually
Some
experiencing
of
over
their
there.
stories.
So if you have contact to people who are in Ukraine, in the war, especially women and children, please let us know. We would very much like to bring them on the show. Okay, Coach.
Very good. On number 12, no country can ever truly flourish if it stifles the potential of its women and deprives itself of the contributions of half of the citizens, by
Well,
Michelle Obama.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Now think about that. Our growth has been stifled so many times in so many ways on the job, at home. in the church, in organizations, on the streets. Hmm?
Yeah,
So
and
there's a lot to do where we're concerned as women in terms of recognizing our potential. I won't go into it now, but there are some women today, and I'm not just speaking Africa, I'm talking America. There are some women today who are in leadership positions, but are still not recognized by their companies
right.
simply because they're female. So she's saying, if you don't let us rise, then you ain't gonna rise because half of the world is women.
Yeah.
So if you're holding us back, you're holding half of yourself back. Is that what you truly intend to do? Is that that's how you really want to be? Hmm? Hey, hey.
Mm.
Okay, we got another. Here's another comment coming up for you from one of the earlier quotes about how we needed to expand, and that's Jennifer saying, "Oh, Jennifer, Jennifer! Oh my God, that's a dear friend of mine out of Florida. I haven't heard from Miss Jennifer for a long time. Thank you, sweetheart, for tuning in to Queen Mother's. Thank you, sweetheart, for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. And I'm so happy to have you here. So happy to have you here. Please, please, please come with us some more. I want you to get to know Raquiyah. Raquiyah is a health and wellness coach, and she lays it on the line, Jennifer. And at some point, I really like for her to talk with your children about their eating habits because she's been helping me and others with our eating habits and living the life we want to live by choosing to do the right things for ourselves and making it mental. Because if it doesn't happen here, it won't happen here.
It won't happen. Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, she's saying hi, hi, hi. Oh, she's such a sweetie
Hi, Jennifer.
pie. Jennifer, Jennifer, F-A-H.
Jennifer.
That's how her name is pronounced. We love to have
Jennifer.
her on the show. Jennifer, F-A-H.
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Oh, okay.
So thank you, Jennifer, for tuning in with us. We're going to go ahead and read you a few more women's history quotes, and we're doing this today because again we had blackouts during the month of March, so we just wanted to make sure that we gave you a full dose of words from our women leaders from the past and from the present. The next quote says, "Women make up more than half of the world's population and potential. So it's neither just nor practical for their voices, for our voices to go unheard at the highest levels of decision making." It's just a confirmation to Michelle Obama's quote that
Meghan Markle.
yeah, if you're not letting us live up to our potential, baby, you ain't living up to yours. Okay,
That
because we
was
do hold up half of the sky.
that quote was made by Meghan Markle.
Yeah, Megan. Now she's quite a young lady.
Yes, she is.
I've been following her. And
Yes,
I'm
she
very
is.
happy for her. I'm very pleased for her that she got her Prince Charming, just like I got my Prince Charming. I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased for her. And I wish her well. I wish her well. I wish her very well. Do not live someone else's life in someone else's idea of what womanhood is. Let me read that again. Do not live someone else's life in someone else's idea of what womanhood is. Because womanhood is you,
You.
you, you. Womanhood is you. I think that speaks for itself. Coach?
That quote came from Viola Davis.
Oh, now wait a minute. We got to take a moment to say something about Miss Viola.
Yes, that
What do
quote
you think
came
about
from
that lady?
that quote came from one of the baddest actresses on the planet today.
I agree.
Brilliant,
I'm with you on that. That's my
brilliant,
girl.
intelligent, gifted, and always exacting on her delivery
Uh
of
huh.
any line in any movie that she makes.
Oh, I love her. It's like it's like Denzel. It's like Muhammad Ali. There's just a
Yes,
few people in my life, they can't do no wrong. It's like
what I
babies, a
like about what I like about Viola Davis is that she has brought the younger sisters along.
hmm
She works as a team,
hmm
and she's always making room for others to a lift up, a parachute.
Yes, yes. Now, I would like to have her on the show as well. There's,
That
I,
would be
I'd love to have her on the show. I don't have a connection to her, but I know in order for it to happen, you have to begin to put it in the universe, right?
yes,
You have to begin
and
to put it in the universe.
she might be listening.
She might be listening, or
She
somebody who
might
know
be
her
listening.
might be listening. So we're going to keep saying what it is that we want in the world.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Coach.
Uh you need to do number 15.
Oh, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
Wow.
So I often wonder when people say they what's the word they say, they got not embarrassed, but they were, when somebody does something to you and it makes you
Humili-
feel bad,
you mean humiliated
could be humiliated. But she's
or
saying, but
make
Eleanor
you
says, yeah,
feel inferior
yeah,
or less than, but that's a little insecurity within you, because what this quote is saying, that no one should be allowed to make you feel that way. And as you know, it's thought, and but your mind rules your thoughts.
hmm
And so if that is happening, then there's some insecurities within you
right,
that manifests itself
hmm
at that given situation.
yes. And I will say to you that there have been times that people have said things to me that it made me feel inferior. And you know how I was able that was able to happen? Because somewhere within me, I might believe what they have said. But
Or or
Lady Eleanor, uh-huh.
or you may have given it some validation,
Okay, okay.
and that's, but experiences and situations happen to teach and reteach and reevaluate. So whenever something comes up like that, then it's a lesson. It's something that you must work on. Like Iyanla Van Zant says, something reminds you or has is bringing up a trauma that is occurred from your childhood
hmm
or your teenagehood or your
hmm
adulthood. And so it is happening to remind you that you still have not completed the work.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That's who I would
Okay.
love for. That's how I would love to have on the show, Iyanla Van Zant.
Oh, I'd love to have her too. All right. And truthfully speaking, if I may, I am happy for everybody that we get to have on the show. But I definitely would love to have Ayanla. Would definitely love to have Lady
Viola
Michelle.
Davis.
Oh yeah. And Coach, let me just say this: I love those women just as much as I love you, and I'm also happy to have you here. So I
Thank
want
you.
to take this moment and acknowledge you for being here because you too could be somewhere else and you could be doing something else, but you chose to take this hour of your day and of your time to be here. And I thank you for making Bonga Dada Bonga be the platform that it is. Shall we go to our next quote?
Okay. Um, feminism isn't about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives their strength.
Mm.
G.D. Anderson. Ah,
Oh, wait a minute. You got something to deal with here. Jennifer just said, I was just stating how much I love you, Coach. And Jennifer says, but no, 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 no. She loves me most of all. And I'm going to say yes to that. I'm going to say yes to that. Jennifer's living over in Florida. She's got a very handsome husband and some very beautiful children. And I'm looking forward to having her come to Kenya, just like you, Coach. I want you two to come here. Maybe you ladies can come at the same time.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to serve on Bonga Dada Bonga and Queen Mother Speaks. I'm learning, I'm listening, I am a student, and so I am open and receptive uh, and willing to learn.
Now, the quote that we just did about women and feminism and women being strong and how it's really coming down to us just choosing how we perceive something. I want to speak to an incident that happened in my life recently, and it really upset me. I mean, it really upset me. And one of the things I had to come in contact with, I'm reading a book right now called 369. I think it's in the other room. I'm reading the book Transformation 369. And one
Mm,
of the things the book has said to me is that I have to learn to accept everything that comes into my life, both the good and the bad, so that I can be on the proper wavelength with harmony. So it's saying to me, I shouldn't want to have to throw out the bad stuff. It's saying the bad stuff and the good together, the bad
exactly.
and the good. All right. It's what is
Right.
needed and it brings harmony. And it went
Right.
on to say that if you didn't experience something bad sometimes, how would you really even know how to experience something when it's good? Okay.
Or how would you know? Uh, how would you know to be grateful? How would
Hmm.
you know to be thankful? How would you know to be flexible? Flexible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Very good. All right. We're going to go to our next quote. Is it me or you?
It's you, Queen 17.
All right. Oh, I got 17. To all the little girls who are watching this, and you can be a little girl at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80.
All right then.
So to all the little, because each of us, no matter how old we get, we still have a little girl inside of us. So to all the little girls who are watching this, never doubt that you are valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and opportunity in the world to pursue and achieve your own dreams. Your own dreams. One day, Coach, I'd like for us to do a vision board on the show so that we can invite in some women to talk about what it is they want to do and how they want to do it. Okay?
Yeah, well,
I definitely want us to do that.
my vision board, my vision board is right above my head. If you can
Okay,
see it, if you can see it,
I do.
that's
I
my
do.
vision board. And
Okay.
every morning when I wake up, I
Hmm.
do a little quick, I peruse it quickly and look at it to remind me where it is that I'm supposed to be.
Okay. Okay.
So, uh, Hillary's quote is something that I always talk about in
Okay.
terms of trusting your instincts and honoring your inner child. You have to
Mm-hmm.
nurture your inner child. You have to love your inner child. And
Are
you
you
have
hearing this, Jennifer? Are you hearing this, Jennifer?
to,
I would very much like for you to be a part of the vision board. We like to
yes,
do a Bonga show where we're creating vision boards. And Jennifer, I want you to be a part of that.
and you
I
have to
definitely want you to be a part of that.
always, always be true to yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Be true to yourself. Now, the next one, and I think it might be the last one, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair by Shirley Chisholm.
Well,
That's a powerful one. If
and
they do
she's also
not,
a powerful woman.
if they do not give you a seat at the table, then bring a folding chair.
Hey, hey, hey.
Bring a folding chair and
Bring a
sit
folding
down.
chair. Hey. Well, James Brown would have said, get up on the table and
Yeah.
say it loud. Say it loud. Say it loud.
Uh, that is what you call a power move. And then
Okay.
there's a quote that says, sometimes the woman is the king. Sometimes the woman is the king. Pow!
Well, well, I personally never got a chance to meet Miss Shirley Chisholm,
I
but
didn't.
my sister Tashmia out of San Francisco did. In fact, she used to work with her when she was a young woman growing up in New York City. Okay, she used to work in her campaign headquarters, and often she would tell us stories of this great woman. But I personally never got a chance to meet her, but I honor her to this very, very day. Okay, so now there is three. We got a few more quotes here. I added a few more in because when I added a few more in.
Okay, number 19 is your turn.
It's okay if you fall down and lose your spark. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you fall down and lose your spark. But just make sure that when you get back up, baby, you rise as the whole damn fire. Colette Worden saying it's okay to fall down, but it's like that song, we fall down, but we
But
get
we
back up
must
again.
get up.
Because what is a saint?
We fall down, but we must get up
A saint is just a sinner who fell down
and
and
must
rose
get
back
up.
up and got back up. So it's okay to fall. It is saying you got to get back up. Definitely, you got to get back up.
Oh, this is a
Uh,
good one. This is a
okay,
good one.
okay.
The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. I ain't Ron.
Well, well, that sounds
Hey,
like the Honorable Margaret Tolley. The Honorable
no,
Margaret
it's
Tolley
I ain't
is.
Ron. And what I'm going to add to that is what's understood never has to be explained.
Woo! Oh, I love
And
it.
I,
I love it. I love
and
it.
I rest my case.
All right now. Ah, all
Uh,
right. There's another one I want us to do by Eleanor
21.
Roosevelt. Oh, you have 21?
No, 21 is you.
Okay. I want every girl to know that her voice can change the world. And that's by none other than Malala Yousafzai. Yousafzai. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, the surname, but the first name, Malala, is correct.
Yes, Malala is correct.
Yes.
I want every girl to know that her voice can change the world. And you
Yes.
never know at the given moment what is going to change. But in other words, what I'm understanding from that is that don't be silent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be
Mm-hmm.
silent.
We often get silent. And I will tell you that is one trait that I found in the Kenyan men and women is they like to be silent. And as I recall my mother telling me growing up, sometimes we as women were silent. But one day, we decided I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around.
Mhm.
And we started speaking up and speaking out. And when we would speak in school, the teacher would come and pop you on your knuckles and say, who are you talking to? Speak out so you can be heard. A woman's voice has to be heard, or a man's voice has to be heard. And growing up in grade school, they would tell us, speak up. So I think that didn't happen just for me. I think that also happened for a lot of us. So
Yeah.
we grew up speaking and saying what's on our mind. And we also were raised in a society and a culture that believed in expressing itself. Whereas the adage about women is we're supposed to be what? Seen
And not
and
be heard. And
not
not be
heard.
heard.
So we don't ascribe to that one.
No.
We don't ascribe to that one at all.
I do
Okay,
not
we've got a
believe
few more.
I do not believe in using women in combat because females are too fierce.
Oh,
Margaret
oh,
Mead.
oh. I love her too. All right. She's saying don't put us in battle because you gonna lose. You can't win against us because we know tricks of the trade that you don't know nothing about, baby. All right, we've got two more quotes. I wanted to make sure we got the full hour in at the 8 o'clock. We're right at the 8 o'clock hour, but we're gonna say these two together. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. I
I
am
am
I'm a
a feminist.
feminist.
I have been a
I've been a
female
female for a
a
long
long
time
time
now.
now. I'd be
I'd be stupid
stupid to be on
be on my
my
not
own
to be
side.
on my own side.
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou, also a woman after my own heart.
A woman is ready.
Okay. Yes.
A
A
woman
woman is
is like
like
a tea bag.
teabag.
She can't tell
How strong she
uh,
is
until you put her
in hot
hot
water.
water.
Let's do that
Eleanor
one again.
Roosevelt.
Let's do that one again.
A
A
woman
woman
is like a tea
is
bag.
like a tea bag.
You can't
You
tell
can't tell how
how strong she is
strong she is
until you put
until you
her
put her in
in hot water.
hot water. Uh-oh. You better watch out. You
Eleanor
better watch
Roosevelt.
out. I love that one. I love that one so much. And I'm also just going to take another moment and acknowledge my dear friend Jennifer that I haven't talked to for a while. But I'm very happy that she's tuned in tonight, and I love it if she give me a call after the show so we can say hello to each other. I love you. Oh, Jennifer, by the way, street code classes are starting up on the 24th of April. The 24th of April, I received an email that street code classes are starting up again. Coach, I'm going to tell you all about it so you can know about it. I wasn't prepared to announce it today, but I'm going to be announcing it every week from here on out. So you'll learn what Street Code is. Street Code is a organization out of California, and they have online classes in technology for grown folks
Oh,
like me and you.
we need that.
Grown folks like me and you. And
We
guess
need
what?
that.
They're teaching the course in such a way that you can get it. See, my
I need
experience
that.
with young people in technology is they make me feel like I'm stupid. And so I just have to hit them across the head and send them out the room. Okay. Because they don't have the patience. But in the street code classes, you'll get the patience and you'll get to learn. So guess what? That's where I met Jennifer.
Oh.
That's where I met Jennifer. That's where I met Jennifer. And we haven't, classes have not been, oh, it's been at least 6, 8 months for
Wow.
classes. So classes are coming back in. I want her to know that, and I look forward to being with her. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. Speak, Sister Speak, a platform for women's voices. And we are here for you. We were created for you, by you. Women created this platform. And right now, I want to give a shout out to all of those women who were at the beginning for starting and kicking off the Bonga Dada Bonga platform. And we'll be bringing them back too from time to time. Okay, we're already at the 8 o'clock hour, so we're not going to go very much further. But we again just want to Thank each of you, all right, for tuning in to the show tonight. And thank you for tuning in and letting us know when we go off the air. Sometimes I get a phone call to say, Queen Mother, you just got kicked off. And on my end, I may just have a blank screen, or it may be a white ball or a black ball rolling around and around and around. But I'll always get a call from someone to tell me what's going on the other end. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Any closing words, Coach?
Well, what I try to do if that happens is that I try to keep it going. Uh
Just when it goes
because
off, I don't know. I don't
I
know that you're
know
there or not
I'm
there.
aware of that.
So
But I
you're
want to
still
say
there when
that
I get kicked off, huh?
yeah, I want
All
to
right.
say that this has been a very interesting episode,
It
and
has.
I hope that we get to do some other fun things like that. I
We
hope that
will.
the audience enjoyed it, and they may want to come and have fun with us sometimes.
Well, they can, and we're inviting you to do that. Christine, up in Samburu, we want you to come in the studio and we're going to create some more fun time. Listen, this is our platform and we can do whatever we want to do. If we want to have a vision board session, we can. If we want to take some quotes and kick it around or just invite some women in and throw some questions at them, and this is our show. It's
I have an
Black
idea.
Lives. Okay.
Uh, we can um, we can make it a tea party.
Okay. Okay.
A tea party where
Tell me
everyone,
more.
yes, everyone gets their tea, and we just sit around just like this and
Okay.
chat it up.
Okay. All right. When would you like to do that? Maybe in May or June or
Maybe in July or August.
okay. Well, July is our anniversary month,
Yeah, that will be nice.
so that
That
might be a
will
nice
be
time to have tea time.
very, very nice. That
Well,
will be a
let's think on that concept a little bit more, and let's add some more meat to it and create a session in July during our anniversary month where it's almost like it can be a tea time,
yeah,
high tea time. hmm We could even have a pajama show.
yeah.
It's our show. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga every Thursday, every week, live at 7 p.m. Nairobi time, 12 noon New York time. Now you find out what time it will be in your zone. Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada
Bonga
Bonga,
dada bonga,
Bonga Dada
bonga
Bonga
dada
Dada
bonga
Bonga.
dada bonga
Oh,
dada bonga.
Christine just came into the studio. Another one of our sweet sisters have just come in. All
Hi,
right.
Christine.
Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga
Yeah.
Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada
Bonga dada
Bonga Dada
bonga dada
Bonga.